Compassion and loving kindness form the basis of the Buddhist approach to ethics. Discuss 150 words reference. Reference. Love and compassion are the two key components of the Four Noble States of Mind revealed by the Buddha. In their eagerness to live the moral life, some Buddhists may regard love and compassion as a moral or ethical norm to live up to, or as a lofty ideal to advocate. Buddha taught that to realize enlightenment, the person must develop two qualities, wisdom and compassion. According to Buddhist teachings, those who reach the goal of freedom hence need to act in a loving and compassionate manner towards others, helping these others in turn to be more happy and free. Ethical action is thus both an important part of the Buddhist path and an important aspect of the results said to flow from that path. In Buddhist teachings, indifference is very closely associated with ignorance, confusion, and incorrect understandings of the way things are. Completely overcoming these three poisons leads to liberation from cyclic existence, compassion, joy, freedom, and happiness. Training in wisdom consists of cultivating cognitive skills. Noble thought rooted in thoughts of loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and selfless renunciation. It is thought which is free from ill will, greed, and delusion. From wisdom springs virtues of compassionate endearment, loving kindness, appreciative joy, and unbiased concern and equanimity towards the well-being of all sentient beings. From these psychological virtues spring wholesome physical actions like saving lives, practicing charity and generosity, and wholesome vocal actions like speaking in a truthful, friendly, gentle, and appropriate manner. When a practitioner enters the course of training on the Noble Eightfold with an equal emphasis on morality, concentration, and wisdom, the 8 factors become highly charged with a unifying force. The factors fuse together into a unified pathway leading the practitioner towards the goal of ultimate perfection. True compassion has no expectation of reward or even a simple thank you attached to it. To expect a reward is to maintain the idea of a separate self and a separate other, which is contrary to the Buddhist goal. The ideal of dana paramita, the perfection of giving, is no giver, no receiver. For this reason, by tradition, begging monks receive alms silently and do not express thanks. According to Buddhism, compassion is an aspiration, the state of mind, wanting others to be free from suffering. It's not passive, as it's not empathy alone, but rather an empathetic altruism that actively strives to free others from suffering. Genuine compassion must have both wisdom and loving kindness. To what is teaching considered as noble profession? Elaborate what Einstein meant when he said that it is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. 150 words. Answer. Since time immemorial, the profession of teaching has been considered as one of the noblest professions. Educators have always played a role of catalysts for various social changes in society. Mankind has always considered teachers as a boon to the society, for they have been the ones responsible for polishing a learner's intellect and aptitude. A.P.J. Callum said teaching is a very noble profession that shapes the character, caliber, and future of an individual. Teaching ignites the minds of tomorrow. It can create a better future for an individual and, of course, subsequently for the country. Teaching is the only profession that nurtures the young minds to take up other professions in the future. The teacher might have to deal with a number of students with different personalities and attitudes. The art of teaching channelizes these different minds into seeing a vision of what they wish to become and what should contribute to the society. A good teacher can impart interest in the child in a particular subject and create enthusiasm, and a bad teacher can push children and students away from gaining knowledge. Similarly, when the teacher focuses on only ensuring children get good marks, the creativity and the curiosity of the students to think and gain new perspectives is lost. This creates a long-term issue, as the goals of success are misoriented to achieving grades and not achieving excellence. Teachers play a very important role in molding our personality and shaping us in who we are today. If the students are taught in a stimulating, creative classroom environment, they will respond positively and learn because they are interested and awake. They will enjoy thinking and learning. Students taught in an environment of boredom and lack of creative stimulus will not be motivated to learn. Having creative teachers creates an environment that will stimulate their minds and make them much better learners and thinkers. Creative teaching can only be a part of a classroom if the teacher presiding over is an ingenious individual. The teacher who is creative enough to be part of the innovative classroom can design exciting new lessons, Motivate the right classroom environment required for students to showcase their innovative minds. 3. Define/differentiate the following with suitable examples. Say reformation versus administration. Reformation is the action or process of reforming an institution or practice. Administration is the process or activity of running a business, organization, managing public affairs, etc. Due to better administration, then areas can be reformed. Reformation does not guarantee better administration. B. Teachings versus preaching. Preaching is the act of proclamation. In the life of the church, the preacher preaches the Bible. Preaching lays the foundation for teaching. Preaching making announcement precedes teaching explanation, clarification, application, exhortation. Teaching is the act of imparting knowledge to people. However, preaching is issuing. The teacher will try to get the students to ask the question and helps there in their creativity. Preaching need not necessarily be imparting knowledge but saying words and asking others to follow these words. See rhetoric versus persuasion. Persuasion is the use of appeals to reasons, values, beliefs, and emotions to convince a listener or reader to think or act in a particular way. Aristotle defined rhetoric as the ability to discover the available means of persuasion in each of the three kinds of oratory: deliberative, judicial, and epidictic. Rhetoric is the study and practice of communication techniques used for purposes such as transmission of knowledge, alteration of opinions, and prompting of certain actions. The practices of rhetoric and persuasion are closely linked because various rhetorical techniques are commonly used for the purpose of persuasion. The study of persuasion originated through the study of rhetoric. An example of rhetoric is an advertisement for a food product for children that espouses that moms who love their children by name of product uses rhetoric by persuading parents that not buying that brand of product may imply they do not care as much for their children. D. Innovation versus creativity. The primary difference between creativity and innovation is that the former refers to conceive a fresh idea or plan, whereas the latter implies initiating something new to the market, which is not introduced earlier. While creativity is related to imagination, but innovation is related to implementation. The following are the major differences between creativity and innovation. The quality of thinking new ideas and putting them into reality is creativity. The act of executing the creative ideas into practice is innovation. Creativity is an imaginative process as opposed to innovation is a productive process. Creativity can never be measured, but innovation can be measured. Creativity is related to the generation of ideas which are new and unique. Conversely, innovation is related to introduce something better into the market. Creativity does not require money. On the other hand, innovation requires money. There is no risk involved in creativity, whereas the risk is always attached to innovation.